Naruto. Naruto is an ongoing manga series written and illustrated by Masashi Kishimoto. It is the story of Naruto Uzumaki, a ninja searching for recognition to become the Hokage, the strongest in the village. Or is it? The story clearly began this way all those years ago, but now as the series begins to come to its close, it seems to be telling the story of something much, much bigger. The days of ninja headbands and Hokage and believe it are over. Naruto and its sequel, Naruto Shippuden, are now the story of the quest for world peace. Now it's a hard prospect to imagine such a huge encompassing theme for what started out as such a harmless, at times silly shonen, but any fan up to date will tell you the story has grown up. One of the most overlooked and joked about series of our generation might have one of the most important messages of all. Naruto Uzumaki is the Messiah. The story of Naruto is simple. Well, I say simple, 666 chapters as of this week and growing, 350 anime episodes, and that's not even including the filler episodes, that's thus bringing it up to 573, 10 feature movies, plenty of OVAs and spin-offs, and just, there's a lot. Okay, it's not simple. Now people sometimes complain that the majority of villains are converted to good, that it seems like a cop-out and the villain got cheated. So much so that it has got the official term of Talk no Jutsu by fans. The thing is, to put a name onto it really just diminishes it, when really, Talk no Jutsu is not a bad thing, and is the entire point of this manga. It's why the boundary between good and evil doesn't exist in this story. It's why war and the road to peace are now the key themes, and also why Naruto Uzumaki is the best protagonist you can have. One panel alone can act as a visual metaphor and summarise all of this I'm trying to say. The power to connect the spirit of people to one another. The goal was to reach a balance where everyone without words could understand each other's hearts. Is this not what Naruto's been doing this entire time? Blurring the line between good and evil and uniting the world one person at a time? Hell, in the last arc, he quite literally linked the entire alliance with the Jutsu. He's becoming the sage messiah that we're told existed in the Naruto mythology. It's happening! Naruto is the one to bring everybody together, ending conflict, the boundary between good and evil, and ultimately bringing about peace. Empathy is what makes Naruto a good character, and it's his greatest power by far. He saw a tortured child inside the psychopath Gaara. He saw a hopeful, strong woman inside the alcoholic Tsunade who had given up on the world. A strong ally inside the embodiment of evil demon fox within him. And now the ninja world has teamed up against one ultimate evil. And even that Naruto will make redundant. Kishimoto is a writer who doesn't abide by the labels of morality. Unlike other manga, there is no black and white separation of good and evil. The villains are never set in stone evil. They usually started out innocent or are pushing their own ideal vision of peace, but they are all dysfunctional, not evil. For example, Pain thought he was doing good, creating a world power monopoly, and through fear creating a universe of unity, but at the core of it, many people had to die and it was a very twisted logic. The motive at the core of it is revenge, and he even called himself a god. Old Man Danzo, his motives arose from bitter jealousy, and his vision of peace is very, very controversial, which is never a good place to start. Madara Uchiha knows of the sage, and he's very aware of the theme we're exploring right now, but he actively does not want to abide by this messiah system. He was a bitter old man who was wronged in his life, and also has a lust for power. Basically, all the villains are biased. Not evil, but pursuing their own versions of peace.
Madara Uchiha has been defeated, but the fight is far from over.
Every relevant antagonist in the Naruto series has been given a sympathetic background, a justified reason for what they do. From Kakazu to Kabuto to Orochimaru to Obito, every single one started pure. All people, much like our world, we're all born the same. Which is why it's so important to derail the boundary between set good and evil. It's an outdated cliche because it doesn't exist. Even in such a paranoid and war-torn world such as the Naruto-verse, we can all be ultimately united by this one fact, and Naruto will be the one to do it.
I truly believe that the day will come when all people will live together in harmony.
Naruto, I believe in you completely.
Naruto's teacher Kakashi actually summarised all this perfectly at the very end of the 10,000 Revival arc. Listen to his words. that's how he is. And his actions attract his comrades. You feel like you want to help him. The more people supporting him, the closer he will get to his goal. What he's saying is, you genuinely want to help him. His empathy rubs off another shinobi and ultimately, the reader. Naruto is a simple and basic character because essentially, he's a canvas. He's a blank character and you can project your visions onto him. His innocence and the hardships he went through at his early age have given him a unique vision on the world, and even if that isn't the most intelligent or complex character you can create, the changes that happen around him because of his outlook on life are amazing. His amount of willpower is inspiring, and if he says he will go and do something ridiculous, you can actually kind of believe him. Especially when he proves himself time and time again. You want to go help him achieve that goal. You want to, and that goal is world peace. Where does all this come from? Was he born with this blessing of being a messiah? No. He was taught it on his first ever mission. The people we have to thank for Naruto's ninja way are these two. The deaths of Zabuza and Haku had a huge impact on Naruto as a young child. He never empathized with anyone, Sasuke or anyone else before the Zabuza mission. It's not just from his past as the Nine Tails kid, it's the fact that Naruto saw a different side to someone who was supposedly his enemy. As he says at the end of the arc,
Let's come to a decision. From now on, I'm finding my own ninja way.
On his first proper mission, Naruto learned to empathize with people, good or bad, and see different points of view. Without Haku and Zabuza's sacrifices to protect and avenge each other, Naruto would have never gone on to become the ninja he is today. Gaara would still be the psychopath killer, Neji wouldn't have died free, Sai would still work for the Foundation, Tsunade would not be Hokage, and Pain would have killed everybody in the Leaf Village. It's this understanding that will also eventually create peace in the ninja world. The seemingly pointless and trivial first arc may seem boring at first, but through analysis and multiple viewings, it's pretty much one of the most important moments, as it forms the entire point of the story. The most important aspect to take into context is, can this message be applied to real life? How realistic is this ideal in current terms? Well, the answer is, surely it is applicable. The ninja world seems to be just an exaggerated version of our own. War is waged constantly. Political and personal conflict. The consequences of war and how it affects real people. They're all still there. The only difference is that we know all the key players in this Naruto universe. We're watching from a bird's eye view of this microcosm world and know everybody and their perspectives. We don't have this in real life. We're shut off and defined by other barriers such as race, religion and country instead. And as long as wars and conflict remain, this message, no matter its source, will still be applicable. There have even been examples to this in real life. Our real world too works on perception. Nobody's born evil, just the circumstances that made us who we are. Gandhi knew this, and he said an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. He forgave the British, even after all of their early atrocities. He became a symbol of non-violence, and slowly, many British men too helped his cause. Messiahs aren't fictional. The power of words exist, just only great people use them. And it is for these reasons that despite how heckled and ignored the anime may be by people outside the community, Naruto is truly an important show, and one that is deeper than it lets on. And like the character, the show has matured and has to face the darker truths of life. Naruto Uzumaki is a fantastically written character. To have people reduce the entire message of unity the show gives to talk no jutsu is just saddening. It shows the all-encompassing vital moral has been totally overlooked. But it is there, and as Naruto Shippuden comes to an end, our main character currently lie dead, and the world is united, the underdog Naruto Uzumaki might just be the one to change the world.